should do the job quite nicely. Can't see anywhere that I really need to take more notice of. Okay, that's that bit done. Next, all the rocks that she's standing on. We'll do those first, give the rest of it time to dry. So, the rocks we're going to do, just for a change, with Incubi Darkness. I don't know whether you can see, but my palette is drying up a little bit. Need a little bit more water in there. I'm just going to go and take care of that, and I won't be a second. There we are, we have a nice flat palette to work with again now. It's not rolling up. So hopefully what we've got, we can now just spend time using as we should be doing, and making this look as good as we can. So, as I say, we're going to use Incubi Darkness. That's going on the palette. I'm going to go with a bluish, greenish colour for this particular set of rocks. And we'll just go into this with great abandon, because we're not fussed about getting this anywhere other than the rocks. Just be careful though, when you need the model, you don't want to get any of this actually on the model, but so when we're away from the model, we can scrub it in and slap it on. As I used to say when I was doing the videos, so you get the paint and you slap it on. That's what we're doing here, because we have a little bit more freedom with this part than we have when we're doing the actual main mini, especially on areas like this where it is, as I say, away from the mini. Want to be obviously way more careful near the mini, because we don't want to be, as I say, covering the mini in this colour. What we've painted the mini in is the colour we need it to stay. Right, so while I'm doing this, it's music time. Be back in a moment. Okay, so I think that's the stones done. I know I should have said something a little bit sooner. Towards the, we have a little bit more to do just in there. This is very awkward to get to. whoever decided not to make this a multi-part mini was an idiot. Either that or wasn't intended on painting it. But yeah, it's not a cracking mini. I'm not saying anything about that, but so awkward for painting. Right, so what am I going to do now? Let's have a look. I think I'm going to put a bit more of the Lauren Forest on the palette. And into the Lauren Forest, I'm going to put a bit of our usual mixed colour Screaming Skull. In fact, I'm just going to mix it up right here and now. Just like so. There we are. And we'll get our brush here and we will start adding some highlights to the dress. I'm going to highlight the areas that are I'm going to highlight the areas that are uppermost. Which means the top edge of a dress here. Any creases that we can see will get done. And oops, just move you out of the way a second, and we'll just do a bit of a line down that. And just keep picking out the highlighted areas as we see them. Some of these creases will have well, as we get further into it they won't have any more highlight than this, but the majority of them will. I'm just going to make sideward motions over there like so, because that will show the light catching the knee or the leg. That is, and show the stretch of the material. I just realised I've missed a little bit of the green inside there, so I will be coming back to that in a bit with more Lauren Forest. And we're just, as I said, just going to slowly go along and have a look and pick out the areas that we need to highlight. This I do and show all my all the things I do. I don't hide any of the highlighting things by going fast forward on, so if you're waiting for that bit you can stop now, because I'm not going to be fast forwarding any of this. You're going to see all the highlighting process as it happens. Some of this, you know, you'll see the highlights as far as it goes now, but you won't see any further highlight on some of these areas. Because, well, the idea being obviously that some areas will be away from light and won't be affected by it, and I'm doing all of the areas because I want to give the look of the actual colour of the dress, and I can do that by putting mid-tone colour in. I just need to dump my brush again. Looks as though it's getting a little bit dry. I'll just oh yeah. Sometimes these work, other times they don't. I find that it gets slightly annoying when you can see where the highlight needs to go and it's just not going the way you want it. It can get a little bit annoying, but what you have to remember is let it dry, make adjustments, and hope those adjustments key in to what you're trying to achieve. And also remember that the paint does dry significantly lighter, so just because it may look a little dark and bright, at some point it will pale down as it's drying, so it won't look as vivid. And I'm just going to add a few more areas of highlight to the dress, and then that will be that. I think that's fine. When my hand can stop twitching. There we are, we'll leave it at that for the time being. Let's go into our flesh tone and add a little bit of the Screaming Skull into there to make it a little paler. And we will quite simply perform the same job again, picking out the raised areas and again this is the first highlight, it's not the last one. There will be possibly one more highlight, well, definitely one more highlight after this, there may be two yet. and we'll just go around and everywhere that needs the highlight gets the highlight. Yep. And we'll as you can see, we've got lots and lots and lots of nice little details we can run with on this, as it is moulded so wonderfully. The details lend itself quite well to the highlighting procedure. And just take our time, pick out all the highlighted areas. There we go. And that's that part. Now the arm. So as you can see, I'm using the side of my brush, not the point, for a lot of these, because it's much easier to try and pick out details with the side of the brush sometimes than it is with the point. Obviously sometimes you do need the point of the brush, but this isn't one of those times because the details are raised so well that using the side of the brush picks it out much better than using the point. If there wasn't the detail there, you could use the point to put the detail in, but seeing as there is so much detail in these minis, you don't need to make any up. There we are. And that is Gaia almost completed. Next job. Same again with the twigs, but for this we're going to be using our alternative palette. The Screaming Skull will go on it. The Dryad bark will go on it. And we'll get our dry brush out and we'll go over all the twig areas. like so. Now we're not being incredibly not careful. We're not being incredibly fussy at the moment. We can start being fussy when it comes around to the next highlight session for the twigs, but at the moment we're just trying to get the lighter colour on as quick as possible. And as you may notice, I am going inside as well, because I just want to add the colour and stop the twig what we put on earlier from the sticks and vines and things. I don't want them to look flat, so that's why I'm doing it this way. I really should have mixed a lot more of this, because we seem to be running out. It dries very, very quickly, being acrylic, and this being a very warm room. So I'm rushing to try and get this done before it does actually dry up fully. We're getting very close to that happening actually. But I think we've managed it. We've got all of the twigs, sticks, vines, whatever. I think we've got them done. Okay, next job. This one is going to be interesting. Can I highlight the rocks without getting paint all over Gaia herself? Well, we'll find out.